It'll be 1 to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 take, go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our top 12 driver press conferences here at Pocono Raceway. As he so often does, joining us right out of the chute is Jeff Burton, driver of the number 31 AT&T Mobility Chevrolet. Jeff is currently third in points. We're halfway to the race to the chase. Jeff, I guess counting this race this weekend, we've got 6 races left before the cutoff at Richmond. Your thoughts about your performance maybe thus far, and then what you're going to be trying to do here these next 6 races?
Well, our goals were, and still are, goal number 1 is to make the chase, do whatever we have to do to make the chase. Then, assuming we were able to meet that goal, number 2 be able to be our strongest when the last 10 races start. So we've positioned ourselves very well up to this point. It's going to be important for us to finish up strong, so that we can put focus on trying to do the things we need to do to be as good as we can be in the chase. So, we go into this race with the understanding that there's, in our world, there's a 6-race schedule, 6-race season, and we're focusing on that first and foremost. And then, we kicked off our pre-championship run testing schedule this past week. So we're in the midst of getting ready to be really busy, doing a lot of testing, trying to get better as a team, and also trying to take care of business to make sure we have a shot to be in the chase.
And I want to make you aware this weekend also Jeff's car not only will be the AT&T Mobility, but it'll be the AT&T Mobility Team USA Chevrolet here at Pocono Raceway. Let's take questions now for Jeff Burton. If you have a question, raise your hand. We've got 2 young ladies in the back that will be glad to bring the wireless to you. State your name, affiliation. We'll start right here, and then we'll work our way around the room.
Jeff, the testing that you're going to do here now, you're getting ready for the chase, obviously. Where are the places that you're going to test, and what are what are the goals of the testing? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, we're trying to just build speed. We're trying to prove out some theories. We'll be going back to a lot of racetracks the second time with a lot more information with the COT. So it gives every team a little bit of a head start on the next time that you go to those racetracks. As many questions have been answered, new ones have been asked as we go to racetracks for the first time with the COT. Unless you leave there, 100% happy, you just ask yourself more questions. So we need to find a way to answer those questions. The only way to do that is through technology away from the racetrack with however different teams do that, whether it's 7-post or simulation or whatever it happens to be. But then ultimately, where you got to go to racetracks. Where we're going is obviously we were at Road Atlanta this past week. There's a Charlotte test scheduled for all teams, and then the other tracks that we're going to, we don't really announce where we're going before we go.
Next question. Who's got a question? We've got a couple here in the middle. Let's go right here. Go ahead.
Kenny Bruce, NASCAR Scene. Jeff, now that you've had a week to digest Indy, I just wonder what your thoughts are about what occurred.
That was the second question.
We had a bet. I tried to get the first one.
Well, we had a bet on what would be the first, second, or third question, so it was right in the middle. I had over and under of 3, so we've gone under. Christine wins. In retrospect, obviously, there's the tire was obviously not good enough. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I've heard some people, different groups blaming different people. My view of it is that ultimately, NASCAR has dedicated Goodyear the tire that we're going to run. So that means NASCAR has some responsibility, but ultimately the tire, the responsibility of the tire, rests with Goodyear. I think that Goodyear has done there's been times this year where the tire hasn't been, as what we wanted. We all remember Atlanta and, of course, Indy. But I think we also deserve to give them they deserve some credit. This car is a completely different animal. And for the most part this year, tires haven't been, by far, for the most part, tires haven't been the issue. So it certainly wasn't what anybody wanted. It wasn't what Goodyear wanted. I thought NASCAR did once we got there, and you have to remember that what made this a little more difficult, I know on the surface of it, people say, hey, their tires are wearing out in practice, so you knew they had a major problem. You got to remember, it's like that every year. I mean, every year we go to Indy with the way the surface is, and I heard Indy stand up and say they have no blame in it whatsoever. That's not true. Indy does have blame. It's the only racetrack that we go to all year long that you can only run 4, 5, 6 laps of practice before the tires are completely worn out. That means that the surface is a factor. So, Indy doesn't deserve a bye to be able to say they have nothing to do with it, because they do have something to do with it. It is a difficult tire to build, but it's Goodyear's responsibility to try to do it. So ultimately, it falls on Goodyear's shoulders. But again, I think NASCAR did under the circumstances. NASCAR did 100% the right thing. The only thing that could have been done better is to have cautions earlier in the race than what we had to try to prevent the issues that we had, but we didn't know we were going to have them that early. So as soon as they figured that out, they started having those cautions earlier and earlier and earlier, and I support that 100%. I know there's been some conversations, hey, they should have just let the race go and leave it up to the teams. That's ludicrous. That thought process is what gets people hurt. And you can't, we can't in one finger point at NASCAR and say, well, you guys don't care about safety, and then the next finger point at them and say, well, you shouldn't be concerned about safety. You can't have it both ways. So I thought they did a commendable job of dealing with the situation. We have to find a way to build a tire. Goodyear has to find a way to build a tire that we don't have to go through that process of having to lay rubber down on that particular racetrack to get where we can race on it. Got to find a way to build a tire that will not wear out. But when they do that, what's going to happen is the complaints are going to start coming about the grip level of the tire. That's what we had at Charlotte. That's what we had at Indy. That's what we had at Atlanta. If you go back and think about Atlanta, the last race in Atlanta where everybody complained so loudly about the tire was the first time we hadn't had a tire problem in Atlanta in a long time. Okay? But everybody crawled up Goodyear's butt because the tires drove bad. Again, it's a difficult situation. If you ask me if they're going to err, I'd rather them err on the side of the cars driving bad than erring on the side of wearing them out. But that's my opinion.
Next question. We've got one here, and then we'll go back to the back. Go ahead, sir.
Are there any more big gains to be made on the road courses anymore? In the past, somebody would find something, make a big gain, and then be untouchable for a while. Is that even possible anymore? Yeah,
I think it's definitely possible. I think that the car tomorrow opened that up a little bit. I mean, think about the road course. Not that I compare Pocono to a road course, which I've heard people do. I think that's kind of ludicrous too. But you go back and think about people that have dominated this racetrack. Last year, nobody could even think about running Denny Hamlin. Okay, so this year nobody could think about running with Casey Kane. That right there is an example of how there's always a big gain to make. There's always a way to be better. So, yeah, I think there's still big gains to be made.